Intrigue and relatability. We've all heard think positive, but what happens when positive thoughts aren't enough to shift your reality? This video goes beyond the buzzwords, exploring how your core values are the true blueprints for a life of purpose. Discover how to bridge the gap between what you believe and how you actually live, creating integrity that resonates from within. 1. The affirmation trap. Why words aren't enough. We've all heard the words, think positive. We've seen it written on coffee mugs, slapped across posters, whispered in our ears like a cure-all to every problem. But let me ask you something, brother. What happens when those positive thoughts don't move the needle? What happens when you wake up and no matter how much you repeat affirmations, the reality in front of you doesn't shift? You can smile in the mirror all day long, but if your actions don't match the vision, that smile is just a mask. And deep down, you know it. The truth is this: life doesn't change just because you wish it to. Life changes when your values, the things you claim to believe, align with the way you live. Your values are not just words you post online, they're the blueprint for who you are when no one's watching. And that's what shapes your reality. Think about it. If you say you value discipline but you hit snooze every morning, what does that say? If you say you value success but spend every night scrolling, what story are you actually writing? If you say you value respect but you can't even keep promises to yourself, how do you expect the world to respect you? That's the gap that's killing people today. The gap between what they say they believe and how they actually live. And here's the brutal truth. The gap doesn't just steal your success. It steals your soul. It eats at you. That quiet frustration you feel, that dissatisfaction that no amount of entertainment can silence, that's the cost of living out of alignment. That's the universe telling you, you're betraying yourself. Pause for a second and ask yourself this. If someone followed me with a camera for 30 days, no filters, no excuses, would my actions prove my values or expose my lies? Be honest. Because honesty is the first step to freedom. You've got to bridge that gap, brother. Because the years you're living right now, your mid-20s, your 30s, these are not practice years. This is the real thing. Every decision you make now is carving the man you're becoming at 40, 50, 60. Do you want to be the man who looks back with pride, or the man who drowns in regret? And regret is heavy. Let me paint it for you. Imagine you're 45. The youth is gone. The energy you wasted on distractions is gone. The opportunities you ignored? Gone. You wake up and realize you spent the prime of your life scrolling, drinking, making excuses. You look in the mirror and the fire in your eyes has dimmed. That's regret. And it doesn't just burn for a moment. It stays. Every day. Every morning. Every night. Until you die. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine you wake up at 45 strong, respected, wealthy not just in money but in character. People look at you with admiration. Your kids look at you with pride. You've got freedom. You've got strength. You've got respect. Why? Because when you were 25, 30, 35, you chose discipline over comfort. You chose to work when others partied. You chose to sacrifice now to feast later. Which future do you want? This is the psychology most people miss. Your brain doesn't care about what you say you want. It only cares about what you repeatedly do. Habits wire your identity. If your daily actions scream laziness, no amount of positive thinking will rewrite that script. You can't lie to your nervous system. It knows who you are by what you do every day. That's why you have to live your values. If you value strength, lift. If you value wealth, grind. If you value respect, keep your word. Not just once, every single day. Because repetition writes reality. And I know it's hard. Of course it's hard. That's why it matters. Nobody respects the man who takes the easy road. You respect the one who carries weight, who bleeds, who suffers. Why? Because suffering with purpose creates strength. And strength creates respect. So let me challenge you. Tonight, write down the 3 values you claim matter most to you. Discipline, success, respect, or whatever yours are. And then ask yourself, how did I live those today? Did my actions prove them or betray them? No excuses, no justifications, just raw honesty. Because here's the thing, every day you either close that gap or you widen it. Every day you're either building the man you admire or the man you'll regret. There's no neutral. You're either climbing or sliding. And I get it, life throws pain at you. You've been rejected. You've failed. You've been underestimated. Maybe you've been told you're not good enough. But listen closely, that pain is your power. That rejection, fuel. That failure, training ground. That doubt, fire for your discipline. You can turn every scar into strength if you refuse to quit. Do you want to know why most men never reach success? Because they waste their prime years running from pain instead of using it. They numb themselves instead of facing themselves. They binge instead of building. And then they wonder why they feel empty. Brother, stop running. Stand tall. Face the discomfort. Embrace it. Because pain is temporary, but regret is forever. Now repeat this with me. No excuses. Only results. Say it again. No excuses. Only results. And when the alarm hits tomorrow morning, live it. Don't hit snooze. Don't delay. Rise up. Go to the gym. Put in the work. Read. Grind. Build. Every rep, every page, every hustle. It's not just work, it's identity. You're proving to yourself, I am who I said I'd be. That's integrity. That's power. That's how you earn respect. Ask yourself this tonight before bed. If I died tomorrow, would I be proud of how I live today? Or ashamed? That question should haunt you until you move. Because the truth is, you don't have time to waste. None of us do. Time is the one thing you can't buy back. And it's slipping through your hands faster than you realize. Every wasted week is a piece of your youth gone forever. Do you want to keep wasting it, or do you want to own it? And here's a secret. People respect results, not intentions. Nobody cares about what you plan to do. Nobody respects a man for his excuses. They respect the man who does it, who lives it, who embodies it. So ask yourself, when people hear my name, what do they feel? Respect, admiration, or pity, indifference? You control that, not by what you post, but by what you live. You've got to become undeniable. The kind of man no one can ignore. The kind of man whose presence commands attention without saying a word. That's not built overnight. That's built in the grind, in the sacrifice, in the hours no one sees. Do the work. Lift the weight. Build the business. Earn the money. But above all, earn the respect. Starting with yourself. So let this sink in. Positive thinking won't save you. Action will. Alignment will. Living your values will. And every time you start slipping, remind yourself, lost youth is gone forever. Wasted years don't come back. If you want strength, wealth, respect, freedom, build it now. No more gaps. No more lies. No more waiting. Live your values. Earn your respect. Build your empire. 2. Unearthing your true north. Identifying core values. You ever feel like you're grinding hard, pushing forward, chasing success, but deep down something feels off? Like you're moving fast, but you're not sure if you're even on the right road? That's because most people never stop to ask themselves what really matters. They live on autopilot, chasing trends, chasing validation, chasing what everyone else calls success, and then one day they wake up empty. And I don't want that for you. This is about unearthing your true north. Your core values. Not the generic stuff everyone talks about. Not the be kind, be positive, work hard slogans you see plastered on walls. I'm talking about the deep, non-negotiable truths that guide your life when no one's watching. The compass that tells you who you are, what you fight for, and where you're headed. Here's the reality. You can chase money, you can chase status, you can even chase respect. But if the path you take doesn't align with your true values, you'll always feel that void. You'll get the paycheck, but hate yourself. You'll get the recognition, but feel hollow. You'll have the lifestyle, but not the life. So let me break it down for you. Most of us inherit our values. Parents, teachers, society, they tell us what should matter. But what happens? We grow older, and we realize half the things we're chasing aren't even ours. You're chasing someone else's definition of success, and that's why it never satisfies you. That's why you've got to strip it all back and get real with yourself. Forget the slogans. Forget what you think sounds good. Ask yourself, what actually makes me feel alive? What moments in my life made me feel proud? What decisions did I make that gave me peace, even if nobody else understood? Those are clues, brother. Those are the breadcrumbs leading you to your true north. Let me give you a story. Years ago, I knew a guy who swore his value was freedom. He told everyone he wanted independence. He wanted to be his own boss, to call his own shots. But when you looked at his life, he was enslaved to comfort. He couldn't wake up early, couldn't stick to a routine, couldn't build the discipline to handle freedom. He confused aspirational values with lived values. See the difference? You can say anything, but your habits tell the truth. So here's a reflection question for you right now. If a stranger shadowed you for the next 30 days, what values would they write down based only on your actions? Would they say discipline or distraction? Would they see courage or comfort? Would they write down ambition or laziness? That's the test, brother. Your calendar, your habits, your grind, they don't lie. And that's where the aha moment hits most people. Because when you look back at your past, you start seeing the truth. Look at the times you felt proud. Maybe it was the day you pushed through pain in the gym and proved you were stronger than you thought. Maybe it was when you spoke up for yourself even when it cost you. Maybe it was when you sacrificed comfort for someone you love. Those moments, that's your real DNA. That's your value system trying to speak. But here's the catch. There's a difference between the values you admire and the values you actually live. Everyone admires courage, but not everyone practices it. Everyone admires discipline, but not everyone wakes up at 5 a.m. Everyone admires success, but not everyone bleeds for it. Aspirational values sound good. Lived values cost you something. That's the difference. And I've got to hit you with this truth. Your 20s and 30s, these are the years where you either lock in your values or lose them. Because these years set the foundation. If you waste them chasing other people's ideals, drifting with no compass, you'll wake up in your 40s with regret that you can't undo. Regret is a prison, and it's filled with men who traded their true values for comfort. So here's the challenge. Tonight, no distractions. Sit down with yourself. Take a pen and paper, and write down 5 values you think define you. Not what sounds noble. Not what your parents expect. Yours. Then ask yourself, how did I live those values this week? Did I back them with action? Or did I just talk? And if your life doesn't prove your values, then those aren't values, they're wishes. And wishes don't build empires. You want respect? Live integrity. Do what you say. Keep your word. You want wealth? Live discipline. Delay gratification. Invest. Work when it's hard. You want strength? Live resilience. Train your body. Train your mind. Bleed for progress. Don't just admire these things from a distance. Wear them every day. Here's a quote to burn into your mind. Values are not taught by words, they're proven by choices. Think about that the next time you say you believe in discipline but skip the workout. Think about that when you say you want success but waste your evening scrolling. Your values aren't what you post. They're what you practice. And I'll tell you something that should scare you. Every day you live out of alignment with your true values, you're digging a hole. A hole that gets deeper. A hole that's harder to climb out of. You start lying to yourself so much you don't even recognize who you are anymore. That's how people hit 40 and feel like strangers in their own skin. Don't let that be you. So when that alarm rings tomorrow, ask yourself, am I living my values or betraying them? Because every choice is either closing the gap or widening it. Every day you're either proving who you are or proving you're a fraud. Which one are you? And when it gets tough, when you want to quit, when you want to take the easy way out, remind yourself, no excuses, only results. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be honest. Honest about what matters. Honest about what you stand for. And then live it relentlessly. Because when your life aligns with your values, you feel unstoppable. You move with clarity. You command respect without saying a word. That's the power of integrity. That's the fire of knowing your true north. So here's my final challenge for you. Stop chasing borrowed dreams. Stop living borrowed values. Start digging into your own. Write them down. Test them daily. Bleed for them. And never, ever betray them. Because this is your life. Your time. Your youth. Don't waste it drifting. Don't waste it lying. Build it on truth. Build it on strength. Build it on values that outlive you. Live your values. Earn your respect. Build your legacy. 3. The values action gap. Bridging belief and behavior. You say you value discipline. You say you want success. You say respect matters to you. But here's the question. Do your actions prove it? Or do they expose the gap? Because let's be real, most people live with a values action gap so wide it swallows their potential whole. They speak about integrity, but they lie to themselves every day. They talk about hard work, but they keep procrastinating. They admire courage, but they fold at the first sign of fear. That gap between belief and behavior, that's the silent killer of dreams. Let's talk about the roadblocks that keep you trapped in that gap. Fear is the first. Fear of failing. Fear of looking stupid. Fear of stepping out of line with what society says you should do. And fear will paralyze you if you let it. You'll stay on the sidelines convincing yourself that tomorrow you'll start, tomorrow you'll grind, tomorrow you'll align with your values. But brother, tomorrow is a lie. Tomorrow never comes. Every excuse you make is just fear in disguise. Then there's procrastination. You know exactly what needs to be done. You know you should wake up earlier. You know you should be in the gym. You know you should be building that business. But instead, you scroll, you delay, you distract yourself. Why? Because comfort is addictive. Comfort whispers in your ear. One more hour. One more day. You'll do it later. And while you're waiting, your youth slips away. That's the cost. Not just lost time, lost potential, lost strength, lost respect. And let's not ignore the pressure from society. The world tells you what you should value. Quick money, instant gratification, fitting in. You're bombarded with people showing off lifestyles that aren't even real. And before you know it, you've traded your true values for society's cheap illusions. You say you value growth, but you're copying everyone else. You say you value freedom, but you're chained to approval. And you wake up wondering why you feel so empty. Let me hit you with a story. I knew a guy, 28 years old, full of ambition. He wanted to build his own business. He wanted freedom. He wanted respect. But every night he'd get home from work and sink into the couch, telling himself he deserved to rest. Weeks passed, then months, then years. He'd talk about his vision, but his actions betrayed him. Until one day he looked in the mirror and realized he'd built nothing. He had the values in his head, but not in his life. That realization broke him. But it doesn't end there, because he decided to start small. Micro actions. He woke up 30 minutes earlier and read. He replaced 1 hour of scrolling with building his skill. He cut out one excuse a day. Tiny shifts, daily. And over time, those micro actions compounded. He bridged the gap between what he said he valued and what he lived. 5 years later, he wasn't just talking about success. He was living it. He wasn't begging for respect. He was earning it. That's the secret. You don't leap across the values action gap in one jump. You cross it step by step, micro action by micro action. Every time you act in alignment with your values, you close the gap. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you widen it. That's why it matters so much. So ask yourself right now, what's the one micro action you can take today that proves your values? If you say you value discipline, what's the small action that shows it? Maybe it's waking up without hitting snooze. Maybe it's one workout. Maybe it's cleaning up your diet. If you say you value success, what's the small action today that pushes you forward? One email. One phone call. One focused hour. If you say you value respect, what's the micro action that earns it? Keeping your word. Showing up on time. Doing the hard thing when no one's watching. Here's a quote you need to burn into your mind. Small deeds done are better than great deeds planned. That's it. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for life to feel easier. Act now, even if it's small. And let me warn you, brother, if you keep widening the gap, you'll regret it. Picture yourself at 40, 50 years old. You said you valued health, but you procrastinated every workout. Now your body's weak. You said you valued freedom, but you stayed chained to excuses. Now your life belongs to someone else's schedule. You said you valued respect, but you kept breaking your own promises. Now no one, not even you, takes you seriously. That's regret. That's the nightmare waiting for you if you don't act now. But picture the opposite. Picture yourself a decade from now, living in full alignment. Your actions match your values. You say discipline, and your life proves it. You say success, and the results are undeniable. You say respect, and people look at you with admiration. That's not luck. That's daily micro-actions compounding into a life you're proud of. So here's the challenge. Tonight, write down 3 values you claim matter most to you. Then write down 3 micro-actions that prove each one. And tomorrow, live them. No excuses. No delays. No lies. Prove your values with your behavior. Because until you do, they're just words. And when the resistance hits, and it will hit, remind yourself, fear doesn't define me. Procrastination doesn't own me. Society doesn't control me. I live my values. I close the gap. I build respect. No excuses. Only results. Brother, this is your wake-up call. Stop living in the gap. Stop betraying yourself. Stop wasting these years. Because the years you're in right now, they're the most powerful years you'll ever have. Waste them, and you'll never get them back. Live them right, and you'll set yourself up for strength, money, and respect that lasts a lifetime. So choose. Right now. Do you want to be the man who talked about values but never lived them? Or do you want to be the man whose actions were proof? The man who earned his respect, his success, his freedom? That choice is made in the micro-actions you take today. Live your values. Close the gap. Build your legacy. For the Values in Action framework, your daily blueprint. You've already seen the danger of the gap, the space between what you say you value and how you actually live. You've seen how fear, procrastination, and pressure can drag you down. You've heard how micro-actions can pull you out of it. But here's the question, how do you actually lock it in? How do you build a life where your values aren't just ideas, but the daily blueprint for everything you do? Because that's what matters. A framework. A system. Something that makes your values real, every day, without fail. And here's the truth, brother. Success doesn't come from random bursts of motivation. It comes from daily alignment. It comes from living a blueprint so consistent, so locked in, that even when you're tired, even when life gets messy, you're still building the man you said you'd be. That's values in action. So let's start with the mornings. Mornings are the foundation. How you begin the day sets the tone for how you live the day. If you wake up late, groggy, scrolling on your phone, you've already betrayed your values before the day even begins. But if you wake up with intention, if you rise early, if you start with clarity, you've already proven discipline before the world even gets up. That's why morning routines matter. Now I'm not talking about some fancy checklist you copy off Instagram. I'm talking about building mornings that align with your values. If you value discipline, prove it by getting up when the alarm rings. No snooze. No negotiation. If you value strength, put your body under stress. Push yourself in the gym. Sweat. Feel your muscles burn. If you value growth, feed your mind. Read something that sharpens you. Write down your intentions. If you value respect, start by respecting yourself. Respect your time. Respect your word. Here's a reflection for you. If your morning was broadcasted to the world, would people see proof of your values or proof of your excuses? Be honest. Because mornings don't lie. And here's where psychology comes in. Your brain loves evidence. Every time you live your values in the morning, your brain gets proof. I am disciplined. I am focused. I am strong. And that proof builds identity. That's how you shift from wishing to being. But don't stop at mornings. You've got to carry it into your days and weeks. That's where reflection comes in. Once a week, you sit down and you ask yourself, did I live my values or did I betray them? Where did I prove discipline? Where did I fold to comfort? Where did I show courage? Where did I stay silent? That reflection keeps you accountable. It keeps you honest. And honesty is the backbone of integrity. Without reflection, you drift. You tell yourself stories. You excuse your failures. But with reflection, you face the truth. And facing the truth is the only way to change. But even reflection isn't enough. You need accountability. And I'm not just talking about posting quotes online or telling your friends what you plan to do. I'm talking about real accountability. Someone who calls you out when you slack. Someone who doesn't buy your excuses. Someone who reminds you of the man you said you wanted to be. Brother, here's a challenge. Find one accountability partner this week. Someone you respect. Someone who won't let you off the hook. Tell them your values. Tell them your actions. Tell them to call you out when your behavior doesn't match your words. Because left alone, you'll lie to yourself. But with accountability, you can't hide. And here's the beautiful thing. When you start living your values daily, mornings, reflections, accountability, the ripple effect is massive. It's not just you who changes. It's everyone around you. Your discipline inspires your friends. Your courage strengthens your family. Your success commands respect from strangers. You become a force that pulls people higher just by being who you are. That's the ripple. Think about it. One man decides to live his values fully, and suddenly his circle rises. His kids grow up with an example of integrity. His partner feels safe because they know his word means something. His co-workers respect him because he doesn't fold under pressure. That's not just transformation. That's legacy. And legacy is built one small, consistent action at a time. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You just need to stack daily wins. Wake up early today. Train hard today. Grind for one focused hour today. Keep your promise today. That's it. Day after day. Action after action. Micro aligned with macro. Suddenly, a year goes by and you've become someone else. Stronger, sharper, respected, free. Here's a quote to live by. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. You've heard it before, but have you lived it? Because repetition is power. What you do consistently writes your story permanently. So let me give you a direct challenge. For the next 7 days, build your blueprint. Step 1, lock in your mornings. Step 2, write a reflection at the end of the week. Step 3, find accountability. Do it for 1 week and you'll feel the difference. Do it for 1 month and others will see the difference. Do it for 1 year and you won't even recognize yourself. And don't forget the fear of regret. Because if you don't lock in this blueprint now, if you keep drifting, you'll wake up in your late 30s, early 40s, realizing you wasted the most powerful years of your life. You'll look back and know you had the time, the energy, the chance, and you let it slip because you couldn't win the battle with your own comfort. And that regret, it will eat you alive. But if you take control now, if you build your values into daily action, if you live this blueprint with everything you've got, you'll look back with pride. You'll have the strength, the money, the respect you crave. You'll be the man people admire. You'll be the man you admire. That's the difference between regret and respect. So I'll leave you with this. Your values mean nothing until they're lived. Your words mean nothing until they're proven. Your dreams mean nothing until they're built. And the only way to build them is through consistent, daily action. Wake up early. Train hard. Reflect honestly. Stay accountable. Live your values. Build your ripple. That's the blueprint. That's how you transform your life. No excuses. Only results. 5 Living authentically. The unfolding journey. Brother, listen closely. Living authentically is not a destination. It's not a medal you earn once and hang on the wall. It's not one perfect morning routine or one breakthrough workout that changes everything forever. It's a journey that unfolds every single day. And if you're between 24 and 34, or even pushing into your 40s, you need to hear this. This is the stretch of your life where the foundation gets laid. Not when you're 50. Not when you're retired. Right now. Every choice you make is either taking you closer to the man you say you want to be, or pulling you further away into a life you'll regret. We've all told ourselves the lie, I'll get serious later. But later never comes. Later turns into 30, 35, 40. And by then, the years you wasted don't come back. You know that feeling in your chest when you think about the chances you've already missed? That's not something to ignore. That's your reminder, the clock is ticking. Living authentically isn't about perfection. Stop waiting until you've got the perfect mindset, the perfect income, the perfect body, the perfect timing. That's a fantasy. Real life is messy. You'll fall. You'll slip. You'll make choices that go against what you stand for. But here's the difference between the man who grows and the man who dies stuck in regret. One of them keeps moving. He doesn't let a setback turn into surrender. He looks at the failure, he learns, and he keeps walking in alignment with his values. Think about it. How many times have you promised yourself you'd wake up early, hit the gym, eat clean, start that business, and then you failed once, and you let that one failure convince you you're not cut out for it? That's the trap. The truth is, living authentically means embracing those failures as part of the journey. It means understanding that progress beats perfection. Always. Here's the psychology behind it. Your brain is wired for survival, not for authenticity. It will always pull you toward comfort, toward conformity, toward doing what the crowd does. But authenticity isn't about blending in. It's about standing out. And standing out means conflict. With society. With your own fear. With the voice in your head telling you to stay small. If you can't face that, you'll never live true. So let me ask you, brother, where in your life are you pretending? Where are you putting on a mask just to fit in? Where are you making choices to keep other people happy while your own soul is starving? Sit with that. Don't run from it. Because the man you'll become is shaped by the choices you make when no one's watching. Affirm this right now. I refuse to betray myself. I refuse to waste these years. I refuse to live a life that isn't mine. Living authentically is not a one-time fix. It's a practice. It's the way you wake up in the morning. It's the way you show up at work. It's the way you treat your body when nobody else cares. It's the way you handle temptation, setbacks, and distractions. And every day you choose integrity over excuses, you stack one more brick into the foundation of a life you'll actually respect. Think about respect. That's what every man wants. Respect from others, sure, but more than anything, respect for himself. How do you look in the mirror at 30, 35, 40 and not feel sick? By knowing you didn't cheat yourself. By knowing you fought for your values even when it was hard. That's the kind of respect that lasts. But here's the danger. Waste these years and you won't just lose time, you'll lose yourself. The regret of not living authentically doesn't hit you all at once. It creeps in slowly. You wake up one day realizing you've built a life based on other people's expectations. You've got money maybe, but no meaning. You've got routine, but no fire. You've got a mask, but no identity. And then it's too late to rebuild. That's the nightmare you need to avoid. So challenge yourself right now. Where do you need to realign? Maybe it's in your health. You've been saying you value discipline, but you're skipping workouts, eating trash. Maybe it's in your career. You say you want freedom, but you're still clocking into a job you hate without even trying to escape. Maybe it's in your relationships. You say you value loyalty, but you're surrounded by people who drag you down. Whatever it is, today's the day to close that gap. Start small. Micro actions. Brother, wake up 30 minutes earlier. Put your phone down and read a book that sharpens your mind. Cook one meal instead of buying junk. Say no to one thing that doesn't serve you. These tiny acts of alignment add up. That's how you transform. Quote this to yourself, it is not what we profess, but what we practice that gives us integrity. You can talk about values all day, but until your actions match your words, it's empty noise. Reflection question. If someone watched your life on mute, No words, no promises, no excuses. What values would they see? Would they see discipline, strength, ambition? Or would they see laziness, fear, procrastination? That answer tells you everything. And let me make this clear, you're not alone in this. Everyone stumbles. Everyone struggles. The strongest men you look up to, the ones who built empires and carved respect, they had setbacks too. But they refused to quit. They kept walking authentically, even when it was hard. That's the only difference. So make it your creed. I move forward. I learn. I grow. I never settle. Because every day you live in integrity, your mental health gets sharper. The fog of anxiety and stress starts to clear. You sleep better at night because you're not lying to yourself. You feel lighter because you're not carrying the weight of pretending. And you walk with power because you know exactly who you are. That's the impact authenticity has. It doesn't just change your life, it changes how you live inside your own skin. But remember, this is an unfolding journey. You're not going to arrive tomorrow. You're going to keep walking, keep adjusting, keep reflecting, keep growing. And the more you embrace the setbacks as lessons, the stronger you become. Every scar becomes a story of resilience. Every failure becomes proof that you had the courage to try. That's what makes life real. So here's the challenge for you. Tonight, write down 3 areas where you're out of alignment. 3 places where your actions don't match your values. Be brutally honest. Then tomorrow, take 1 step, just 1, to close that gap. Do it again the next day. And again the next. That's how you build authenticity into your bloodstream. Stop waiting for perfect. Stop living for later. Stop betraying yourself. No excuses. Only results. Brother, this is your life. These years are your chance. Live it authentically, or lose it forever.